The answer to this question, that is, the general perception of heritage in India is biased towards historical monuments, artifacts, and scriptures. Analyze the reasons for such a perception and suggest a broad framework of a scope of what heritage should constitute with reasons. The basic logic of asking this question had been a re-evaluation of what our heritage is, has been going on with the government. And that has come largely as a result of the reinvention of the government that some of the heritage of India, such as paintings and other things, most of them have been stolen from India. Not only that, they went on to receive a report from Gujarat government that some villagers went on to pick up the eggs of the dinosaur that was in Dahod district of Gujarat, and they went on to sell it to the people who had come only for that purpose, having known that eggs were going to be found in that region. One egg of dinosaur can go on to be as much as $5 million in the international market. So there was a reignited debate on what heritage should go on to constitute of. So that's a talk going on, and that's the basic reason for this question. And the direction of this answer writing is going to be associated with meaning of heritage. What is heritage? So heritage includes all our art, artifacts, our natural surroundings, our natural wealth. That includes geology, physiography, climate. That includes people, the language. That includes the work of the people, that is monuments. And that also includes some of the type of psyche of the people as well, which can go on to be something that requires to be preserved, which is something that can be showcased, something that is going to be proud of, something that is an iconography, and something with which the identity of the country is associated with. That's the first part. The second part is what has been the perception of heritage. The perception of heritage that in India is that it comprises historical monuments, certain things like Taj Mahal, Agra, then Delhi ki Baoli, then Vijayanagar, Hampi ruins, etc. Paintings like the Ajanta Ellora paintings, that is our heritage. A sculpture of certain things like the bronze statue that is from Indus Valley civilization. A sculpture says certain things like the Hoysal architecture, and artifacts that can go on to be certain things like coins and other aspects. Now the reasons for such a perception had been only because of the British rule and its effect, because before that the concept of heritage has been in Hindi and in Sanskrit has been known as Thati. That has been known as not only Virasat, not only Dharohar, but there have been three words associated with it: Dharohar, Virasat, and Thati. And it was this heritage that has been talked about in Kumar Sambhavam, in Kadambari, in Banabhat ki Atmikatha, and in various even Sanskrit poetries of Dandiyan as well. But the British rule went on to bring about a radical change in the way that we went on to perceive our heritage. Because when they came, they never thought that they were going to see such type of sculptures, architectures, forts and other things. So what they did was that they said that these are the only heritages that India goes on to have, because they had not enough amount of time to explore the whole of the country. And also come to know that heritage can go on to comprise its natural surroundings as well, the way heritage has been defined in the Mughal period, and Kashmir used to be a heritage at that point of a time. The second has been similarity of perception carried on towards similarity in history, culture and heritage. Similarity in history, culture and heritage. That is, we have been using the words in an interchangeable manner. History, culture and heritage being the same. And there is a similarity of perception. History is culture, culture is heritage, heritage is culture, and heritage is history as well. That is a similarity of perception. The third has been apathy and disguised understanding towards nature. When we are going to be talking about apathy and disguised nature, we have been affected by maybe some type of a mentality or mindset that has gone on to make us apathetic towards nature. Disguised understanding, that means you don't want to understand nature at all. And all in all, it goes on to mean that even though we go on to be having certain type of natural beauty, natural surroundings, natural phenomena, natural flowers, natural type of landscape, some of these type of landscape that are not going to be found anywhere in the world, but then we are unable to understand and digest that it can go on to be heritage as well, because we have taken it almost for granted. The fourth is associated with repetitiveness of image and close identification. Heritage, image repetition through exhibition. That means anywhere where any type of an exhibition goes to take place, heritage means art, architecture, culture, dance, drama, and so on. And that has been reinforced by the scholarly and the academic work specialization. Now, in this slide, this is significant to note that India has been able to produce certain people like historians. So India has produced scholars like that of Romila Thapar, like that of Vipin Chandra, like that of Professor Arish Sharma, and so on, who have done a seminal amount of work with respect to their academic work, with heritage, with modern architecture, with the iron pillars, and so on and so forth. Even A.L. Basham, who has talked about the wonder that was India. The unfortunate part about India is that India, in its last 70 years, has not even produced a single scholar of geography, not even a single scholar of geology, not even a single scholar of natural sciences. Consequently, all of those people who had been academicians and historians of world repute, when they went on to say that this constitutes our heritage, their work was taken as a seminal work, and then there were no one to advocate what natural heritage of India could have been. Of course, the sixth has been the abysmal state of disciplines of natural sciences. One can go on to find that is, despite 70 years of India's independence, we don't go on to be having any geographer in the Planning Commission. It's not to do with Planning Commission. Planning Commission requires it, but then there are not too many people who are going to be capable of actually assisting Planning Commission in that manner. So, with respect to natural sciences like geology, like crystallography, like mineralogy, and with mineralogy also, that you're going to be having certain heritages as well with mineralogy as well. For example, the minerals that go to belong to different categories like triclinic, monoclinic, orthorhombic, etc., and so on. So, these sciences are not in a very good shape. Had they been in a very good shape, then there was no need absolutely for giving our entire area to be explored to the Russian, to the Australian government and to some Australian companies as well. These perceptions go on to intensify through festive moments as well, because the festival is going to be all about a certain type of a life trait of the people. Life trait will go on to comprise of that is it can be Dashahara, it can be Diwali, it can go on to be something like a Guru Nanak Jayanti and so on. So festive moments go on to reinforce a certain type of images among the people, and that is why the people have perceived that heritage is painting, heritage is sculpture, heritage is architecture, and natural heritage. Certain things like the type of landscape in Ladakh is not a heritage. The type of baulis that one going to find in Rajasthan is not a heritage. Certain things like the ting and tingle and pines and also these things are not a heritage at all. That is one component. The framework for what constitutes heritage. That means what should the word heritage go on to constitute of? So it goes on to consist of first, natural heritage, that is an inheritance of flora and fauna, geology, landscape and landform, etc. That will go on to include the crystal wealth, the various types of crystals that we go on to have. And India is going to be very, very rich in terms of zeolites. This is going to be one of them. Sapphire as well is going to be. Topaz is going to be another one of them. And blue sapphire can go on to be another part of it. So India is very rich in these type of crystals. Zeolites is particularly India's wealth. Then various geological formations, like some of the geological formations that we're going to be having it is, let's say, the boulder conglomerate bed, the lametta beds, the Pinjor formation in Shivalik, the Tatrot formation in Shivalik, they going to be geological formations. And they are very, very distinctive because it is in these type of formations that we have been able to have some fossils of Ramapithecus, Shivapithecus as well. Then various types of physiographic differences and diversities, like the type of physiographic differences and the physiographic components that you go on to see in places like that of Ladakh is really, really remarkable. Such type of features are not going to be found anywhere in the whole of the country. We are talking about physiographic differences. In a similar manner, the type of sand dunes that one goes on to find in Rajasthan is not going to be found anywhere else in the whole of the world. And Ladakh landscape is also not going to be found anywhere else. You can also go on to include that climate of India is also exceptional, extraordinary as well, and unique, very, very, very unique. Why we going to say that it is? Because the rhythm of the monsoon, the bursts of the monsoon, and when the monsoon goes into burst itself on the coast of Thiruvananthapuram in and around the first week of June, that is a spectacle to be looked for, because it is accompanied by thunder, lightning, and whatnot, high velocity winds coupled with winds and everything possibly. Natural vegetation goes on to include it, so that will go on to include the Shola forest, that will go on to include Meristica swamps, that will also go on to include in Himalayan regions like rhododendrons. Some of these are going to be endemic species as well, that they are not capable of generating themselves in any other region other than that. Then Indian human variations, so that will go on to include certain things like Mongolites, some of these are Paleo-Mongolites, Negritos, the Negroes, then a certain type of genetic makeup that the Indians going to be having it, that goes on to make Indian people a thinking people, that is also going to be acting as a variation. The people of South India are going to be genetically different from the people of North India, because both of them going to be endowed with certain type of a thinking characteristic that is not going to be common to each one of them. That's one. And second is, if you're going to pick up some of this tribal group of people, then you do going to find the Negroes, the Negroids, the Negritos, the people who are going to be living in Andaman Nicobar region and their heritage. Imagine nowhere in the world you're going to find people still living in a stone age the way the people going to be living in Andaman Nicobar Islands. And you just imagine that is, it is only in Andaman Nicobar Islands that what has happened is, in the wake of the last tsunami that went on to affect India, with all the state of the warning that was given by the Americans, by the Indians, by anyone, so much amount of a damage went on to take place along the coast of India. But not even a single Jarawa, Antenalese, or the Simangs, none of them went on. Andamanis, Jarawas, and Sentinelese went on to lose their life. They had such a highly developed sensory perceptions that they were able to gauge that there was something like a tsunami that was going to be taking place, and they ran on the higher regions. That is Indian human variations and heritage. Cultural heritage will go on to include everything, tangible and intangible things, like the attributes of a group or society, or man-made heritage, monuments, artifacts, sculptures, paintings, theme, literature, and everything. Food heritage is about cuisines, the types of cuisines that India goes into be having it. No place in the world can go on to match it. And the cuisines can go on to act something like a 7-course cuisine that is offered in Tamil Nadu to something like Gujarat and so on, and everything goes on to be having its own healing quality as well. Industrial heritage is monuments from the industrial culture, like the type of a heritage that you're going to be having in Mumbai, that is the cotton textile mills that were running in 1800 and so on, 1853 and 1870s of sorts. One of these cotton textile mills have been sold, and in its place a mall has come up in Mumbai that is called as Phoenix Mall on that road. But then there are going to be good number of them, and that is something that is seen to be believed. How is it that a cotton textiles used to be made in that region? That was one industrial heritage. And of course there are going to be other heritages as well in other parts of the country, for example iron and steel as well, and that goes on to be handmade handlooms and other type of units as well, that is going to be found in the village areas as well. Virtual heritage goes on to be work dealing with the cultural heritage in the country. Inheritance of physical goods after the death of an individual is another part of heritage, and heredity, biological inheritance, or certain things, that is another part of it. Kinship network, that is the way people go on to mix with each other, the way they can go on to share a genealogical origin, that is going to be another part of it. It's again unique to India, of course unique to Pakistan as well to a large extent. Then certain aspects like the thinking attributes such as patience, affection, tolerance, which has permeated in the people through its cultural milieu and upbringing. It is this tolerance that goes on to make them very, very tolerant of any type of a religion, any type of a event, and sometimes it may be from a political reason, it can go on to be disadvantageous, but tolerance is something that doesn't come to other people in such a manner. Indians are the most tolerant people, and that is a heritage for the country. That completes his answer.